Hello, and welcome to Quick Charge. I'm Mikey G, and it's Thursday, October 2nd. Elon Musk believes that Tesla can reach a $4 trillion valuation if they knock it out of the park a few times. If you're curious, Tesla is currently valued at a little over $600 billion. The CEO has often commented on the potential market capitalization of Tesla. Most famously, he said that Tesla could be worth more than Apple and Saudi Aramco combined. This he said back in October of 2022. However, Tesla stock is down 4% since he made those comments last year. The Nasdaq is up more than 20% in the same period. Lately, the stock has been frustrating with investors, with 17% drop over last month. Now, recently, Ron Barron, a hedge fund manager and longtime Tesla investor, he went on MarketWatch to reiterate his vision that Tesla could become a $4 trillion company. Musk commented on the idea, agreeing, but he also added that they would need to knock it out of the park several times. Though $4 trillion might sound ridiculous, and it might be, most people said that same thing about Tesla being worth $100 billion and worth $600 billion today. Now, as for knocking it out of the park, Tesla has done that with the Model Y, with a vehicle that is quite successful. With the Cybertruck and its manufacturing principles about to hit the market, we may see another positive turning point for the company. Tesla has been spotted testing the Cybertruck's four-wheel steering capability at Gigafactory, Texas. Kind of looks like the pickup truck is sliding on ice. Now, while it sounds like a dangerous description based on the visuals, conjuring up instability, the feature is actually quite amazing. Rear-wheel steering, or four-wheel steering, is the ability to steer the rear axle, generally to a smaller degree than the front wheel, but this creates a tighter and more precise turning radius. While the feature was originally introduced 2 decades ago, it hasn't really taken off. Several automakers have announced rear-wheel steering in their vehicles, and back in 2021, Tesla followed by announcing that they would have it on the Cybertruck. Thanks to a new drone flyover video just recently, we see that Tesla appears to be taking a bad angle with the truck and correct it with four-wheel steering rather than regular steering. Now, as to which configuration and spec of the truck it'll be equipped on, we're not quite sure yet. Rivian has announced that Arnhelm Mittelbach has joined the team as its first Georgia plant manager. Mittelbach joins Rivian with over 20 years of experience at Mercedes-Benz as the EV maker prepares to break ground on its second EV plant. Rivian will begin construction on its second plant in early of next year, which will be home to the next generation R2 products. The R2 products will be cheaper than its current electric models, which are currently starting at over $70,000. Mittelbach brings over 20 years of experience with Mercedes, previously serving as the plant manager in East London, South Africa, and president and CEO of Mercedes-Benz Vans in Charleston, South Carolina. He also held several manufacturing roles in Germany. After setting a new sales record in September, selling 5,872, the Ford Mustang Mach-E sales have dropped to 2,732 in the month of October. Now, despite Mach-E sales falling over 20% through the first half of 23, Ford retooled its plant and was expecting to boost output, which they did, until recently. Ford CEO John Lawler explained on last week's earnings call that the company has, quote, taken out some Mustang Mach-E production. Now, that's not the only thing that Ford has done, as they've been delaying around $12 billion of EV spending altogether. Lawler added, quote, we are also slowing down several investments, including making a decision with SK On to delay the second Blue Oval SK joint venture battery plant in Kentucky. Now, this news comes as their rival General Motors announced delays on their own EV program. The company said it was pushing back production of its Chevy Equinox, Silverado RST, and GMC Sierra Denali by what they're calling a few months. Now, one thing Ford is not cutting back on is actually battery tech, as Ford has just acquired Automotive Motor Power, or AMP. Ford will use AMP's energy solutions provider technology to improve their own EV charging and battery management. Founded in 2017, the LA-based AMP provides hardware and software for several solutions of EV charging, cloud solutions, and battery and energy management. According to TechCrunch, Ford will absorb the company's tech, employees, and the Santa Fe Springs, California facility. And by the way, this is the same AMP that was a sponsor of Quick Charge very recently. I'm going to guess that this deal was decided a long time ago, and as their last act of independence, It was to sponsor their favorite EV news recap show. Maybe that's not the case, but I like to think it is. After recalling all of its battery electric trucks that it had delivered, Nikola's losses have widened in the third quarter. However, with orders rising for its hydrogen fuel cell truck, Nikola could be turning the page, as some investors seem to think so. After recalling 209 of their Tre BEV electric trucks that they sold, Nikola said that repairs are expected to be roughly $61.8 million. After the dust settles with this expensive payback for customers, the company expects to begin battery electric truck deliveries again in the first quarter of 2024. Nikola's losses have widened to $425.8 million, up from $236.2 million just last year. The company did raise its cash balance to $362.9 million, up from $225.9 million at the end of 2022. Nikola's stock is up 10% following the third quarter earnings announcement, as investors hope that the worst is behind them. Tesla is no longer the best-selling brand in the state of California. The title was handed back to Toyota. Toyota has long held the position as the number one brand, as the Toyota Camry has been the best-selling vehicle in California for many years, until the Model 3 from Tesla took the crown. In the third quarter, Toyota sold 70,314 vehicles, while Tesla accounted for 60,061. So as a result, Toyota is now ahead of Tesla by about 20,000 vehicles year to date. This means that Tesla is unlikely to become the best-selling brand for all of 2023. In other EV news in a different U.S. state, Electrify America has launched its first electric vehicle charging station in North Dakota. Now, while that might seem like a headline from 5 or 10 years ago, to put it in the simplest terms, North Dakota is an EV laggard in chargers and adoption, but it's not without reason. Due to long driving distances between destinations, extreme cold in the winter, and the state's robust fossil fuel industry, and of course politics, the state has been, I guess we'll say, traditional in their terms of transportation choices. In today's community comment found on YouTube, Foxtrot Wolf 6081 says, Rivian chargers should be pull-through since their vehicles are more likely than small EVs to be towing something. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. I've actually never been to a Rivian charger myself, but they wanted to put them at destinations that were close to camping sites, which makes even more sense why they should totally do it with a pull-through station. If any of you in the comment section have ever been to one of those Rivian chargers or used them, you can let me know, because I'm sure there's one somewhere around southern Utah, and I've passed by there a couple of times, but I've never had to charge. And moreover, I don't have a Rivian, so I couldn't charge there if I wanted to. In the future, they're going to open up to other EVs, so maybe I actually will this coming season, perhaps. I don't know. We'll have to see, because wintertime is when I like to escape from the cold and snow of Salt Lake City and get down to southern Utah, possibly Vegas, although I don't do that too much because now I've got kids. It's not nearly as fun when you have a 7-year-old asking you, what is that? And then I have to answer. It's not as cute as it was when they were just little tiny kids and they start asking you which animals are real and which ones aren't. Unicorns are not real, but they're pretty close. A pig is real, even though it totally sounds fake. It's fat and pink with a curly tail and a flat nose. Totally sounds made up. Anyways, thanks for watching Quick Charge. I'm Mikey G, and I hope you have a great day.